Welcome, everybody. This is another masterclass that we like to call Why You Keep Playing Small and How to Stop. And I was thinking about how to introduce myself, and I realized maybe I should just talk about how did I even get here? And I don't mean like in the masterclass right here. I mean like here in this work that we're about to do that productive learning does. Because I wasn't always doing this work. In fact, some of you know that there was a time when I didn't know if I would amount to much of anything. And the reason being, the background of that is I grew up in California, white, middle class, college bound dude, psychology and religious studies major. I've got a supportive family. I was doing fine. And that was the problem. I started asking myself a very uncomfortable question in college. Am I actually made of anything real, or have I just been coasting? Was I flying through life, or was I just held up by pulleys and ropes and safety nets that I didn't really earn? And I actually went through some depression in college. And at the core was this question of myself: am I made of anything of value? And I couldn't take the question anymore. So I decided to make a move. After college, I bought a one-way ticket to Ecuador. I had about $1,000 to my name, and I had one contact that I had never met before. I had no job plan. I had no destination and no backup. I just told myself, if I am going to find out what I am made of, it has to be where no one knows me, where I have zero advantage, maybe even a disadvantage, and I still have to try. And that was the beginning of a trajectory change in my life. Because up until then, I just wondered about all of this and eventually brooded over all of this and dug myself into a hole over all of this. But at that point, I made a choice. I made a choice to challenge it. So instead of just sitting and questioning, I chose to move. And it has become a lifelong obsession. What's that obsession? What I like to call slaying the dragons that keep us small. Be it fear or doubt or comfort or familiarity or the illusion of safety. And that obsession has never left me. That is why I do this work. And that's why I'm here telling you that you've probably been playing smaller than you realize. And I'm here to tell you that you are not alone. At Productive Learning, we've spent over 30 years helping people step into the kind of internal power that most people only glimpse. And we don't ask nicely if you'd like to grow. We believe, I believe, that your growth is inevitable if you do this work. Because when you start recognizing and acting on your choices, regardless of your external circumstances, you truly become limitless. And I don't think that is motivational fluff. That is thousands of lives that we have changed, mine included. And now you are here and it is yours. Some of you have been doing this for years. Some of you have been doing this for decades, and you have the proof in the pudding to show for it. So that's why I'm here. I'm Lindon Crow. I am president of Productive Learning, and our company is aimed at helping you become extraordinary. Now, this chat isn't going to be nice and cozy about self-esteem. No, we're going to go deep. If you're here because you feel like you were meant for more, like you could be doing more or creating more, being more, but something invisible keeps pulling you back down like gravity, then you're in the right spot. Today, we are not going to fix you because I do not believe that you are broken. what we're here to do today is surgically expose the sneaky mental programs that keep you playing small and replace them with something way more fun. And what is that? Actual choice. So if you're tired of second guessing yourself or waiting for permission or hoping someone will finally notice your potential and give you your golden ticket, just stop waiting. Here's your golden ticket. Let's start. Ready? Nods of heads. Yes, here we go. On a scale of 1 to 10, how big are you willing to play for the rest of this year? We're at a halfway point, and I'd like you to reflect for a moment. Are you proud of what you've created so far in 2025? How willing are you to get uncomfortable to get where you want to go? Maybe really uncomfortable. Let's go for it, 10. Yeah. Because here's the kicker, folks. Your potential and your discomfort are usually holding hands. So how big are you willing to go? We got 2 10s and everybody else quietly sitting there hoping that he just moves on to the next exercise. This is the point, folks. Let's talk about these comfort zones that we're in, even right now. And I'm not talking your slippers and your favorite chair. I'm talking about the mental cage you've decorated and called safety. Your brain doesn't care if you're fulfilled. It cares that you are familiar. That's why you keep dating the same version of the same person. Or the same raise while watching someone that is half as qualified leapfrog you in their career. Or hesitating when you're supposed to speak up and no, do I believe you're lazy? No. What I believe is that you are patterned. And it's comfortable and it is easy and it is boring to play small. Let me tell you a story. A story you know, but maybe not like this. There was a little girl born to a teenage mom, raised in the deep poverty of Mississippi. And she wore potato sacks to school sometimes because her grandmother couldn't afford proper clothing. She was abused physically and emotionally and sexually before she even turned 10. And she was told directly and indirectly that her voice did not matter, that her body was not safe, that her dreams were ridiculous, that this little girl could have disappeared into the background. She could have played small forever, and no one would have ever blamed her. But she didn't. She spoke and she performed and she learned. And she started to believe tentatively and then fiercely that maybe her voice did matter, that maybe she did have something to say. She saw that she had a choice. She took it. And that girl grew up to become Oprah Winfrey. She became a global force for empathy, for truth telling, for transformation. And not because somebody handed her a stage, but because she made the choice to challenge her patterns, to question the inner voice that said, don't be too much. And slowly, moment by moment, she rewired her reality. That's the choice I'm asking you to consider today. So take a moment, pull out a pen, paper. If you're just listening to this on your walk or on your jog, exercising, still like you to answer. Write down one place in your life where you feel that inner hesitation. Write down the place where you shrink or you pause or you overthink? Make sure you write it down. I'd like you to write down the area you're focusing on in the chat if you are willing to do that. Maybe it's your spouse, maybe it's your kids, maybe it's your coworker, money, health, you name it. Put it in the chat. Own it. This is you, folks. If you're not going to own you, who is? Okay? We're going to come back to that. Now, imagine walking into a room that slowly shrinks every time you have an idea or a desire or a spark of something bold. And it shrinks because instead of acting on it, you fold. You second guess. Maybe you stay silent. And because of that, the room gets a little smaller. That's the loop. It is not loud. It is a subtle whisper, something that says, maybe that's too much, or you're being dramatic, or they won't like that version of you. Let me show you the shrinking room and how you built it loop by loop. There's a trigger. Maybe you want to speak up. And then there's the thought, no, it's not safe. Or they'll think I'm full of myself. And then there's the emotion. It's a wave of doubt, or it's shame, or it's fear. And then the behavior. You pull back. You don't say the thing, or you downplay, but in some way you shrink, which leads inevitably to the outcome. You stay liked, maybe, but you also just stay small. And it reinforces some belief that is inside of you. Maybe it's, I'm only acceptable when I'm contained, when I play small. I'm so bored of that story in my life and in your life. I want it out. Do you want it out? Are you willing to get uncomfortable to get that story out? Let me show you this in another life. Albert Einstein. You know the name, right? We know this guy. But some of you may not know that much of his early life, he was told that he was slow. He didn't speak fluently until he was 9. Teachers said he would never amount to anything. He failed the entrance exam to a technical college. This is like the smartest guy in the history of man.
What was that?
He worked in a patent office, not a university. And yet something in him refused to shrink. He spent nights thinking and daydreaming and scribbling formulas. He wasn't rewarded for being bold. In fact, his ideas were rejected at first, but he kept thinking bigger. He questioned assumptions and himself. He questioned everything that everybody else accepted. And because of that, he changed our understanding of the fabric of time, energy, and the universe. Because he didn't let the loop, he didn't let the trigger, the doubt, the withdrawal, the reinforcement run his life. He disrupted it. He made a choice out of that. Okay, so let's return to your shrinking room. Look at the place that you wrote down earlier. I'm going to ask a couple of questions, but the question before that I asked was, what's one place in your life where you feel that inner hesitation, the place where you are shrinking, the place where you pause, or maybe you overthink? Okay, so you've got that in your mind, yes? Yes, Lindon, I do. Fantastic. There we go. I'd like you to think out and write these answers for yourself. I'll put them in the chat as well. What sets that hesitation, that shrinking in motion? What's the trigger? Is there a thought? What's the thought? What triggers the pullback? And some of you may already be thinking this or moving in this direction. Now, every thought has an emotional component with it. So what's the feeling that then that then the system is overcome by? We've got a trigger, we've got a thought, and then we've got an accompanying feeling. What is it? Once you have that, next question. What's the behavior that you are repeating? What's your version of pulling back, shrinking? Do you not speak up? Do you half-ass the response? Or do you just not respond at all? Do you not make the phone call to your loved one to tell them that you love them? What do? And then when you make that behavior or you don't take that action, what's the result? And maybe even more specifically, what is the cost to you? What is it costing you when that trigger, that thought, that feeling, and that behavior takes place? Does it cost you love? Does it cost you money? Does it cost you connection? Does it cost you your sleep because you're restless? What does it cost you? Welcome to the uncomfortable chat we're having about where we're going, folks. Right? And it reinforces some belief. Now, if you want to ask yourself what that belief is, I think that's a great starting point. We're not going to go deep into that today. But that whole process reinforces something that you believe of yourself and the world. And because of that belief, that's why you keep playing small. Now, the punchline, is that belief true or just a familiar cage with nice velvet walls? You didn't outgrow the shrinking room, you just got better at decorating the room. Here's what you can do to disrupt that cycle. You've got to name the pattern. We're doing that right here, folks. We're doing that in the comfort of our home. But where you really got to do that is when the bullet has been fired and you're out in the world in the midst of that choice. You got to name the pattern. You also have to feel the cost of it. When I wasn't sure what I was going to amount to, what I was denying myself and what kept me in my questioning state was I was too scared to test that I was actually not worth anything. And then when I said, fuck it, I'm going to feel it and I'm going to test it, I had to be prepared to feel the cost that I was not worth anything. So that's why I bought the one-way ticket to Ecuador. You've got to feel the cost. And then at that moment, only at that moment, can you replace it with an aligned action towards something better. For me, it was slaying the dragon. That was my mantra. I'm going to go there and slay the dragon. You've got to find yours. Now, these are answers you would get if you came to our Beyond Reasons workshop, which is happening next weekend, or you did our up-level coaching course, or you went to a retreat with Betty Joe or Mark or Cassie or somebody. These are what takes it from the theoretical in a masterclass where you're sitting there in the comfort of your home to a life-changing application. I'm not going to do that today. That's not what this is for. I'm going to leave you with knowing the path you will have to take to not play small anymore. Okay? Let me take you to another life. It's the late 1990s. A woman in Scotland is sitting in a cafe scribbling on napkins. She's a single mom on welfare. How many of you know this already? Yeah. Do you know how many publishers she was rejected by? 12 publishers said there's no market for what she's writing. Silly fantasy book. The mind loop that she must have been having, you're not good enough. But she kept writing and she kept asking until somebody said yes. And that woman, as many of you know, is J.K. Rowling. And those napkin scribbles, they became the Harry Potter series. The Harry Potter series is the most successful book series in history by double. She didn't wait to feel worthy. She acted. She submitted the manuscript again and again and again, and then everything changed. I want you to do what she did, and I believe you all can. You commit to one micro action that reflects the bigger self that you are becoming. I'd like you to think about that right now. Write down, what is the micro action that you can take towards who you want to be? Write it in an email to me, lindona@productivelearning.com. Put it in the chat. After this, go tell your neighbor. Tell the world what you are committing to. Get it out of your head. Don't let the loop win. What's your micro action? Is it signing up for Beyond Reasons or coaching or a workshop? Or is it putting this note that you're writing down and then just going and having lunch and getting back to your day? Which one do you think is going to get you what you want? You got to do something different, folks. We've got to change. We've got to take an action. Hiring staff, Susan, yeah, get it, girl. I like that. There's somebody bold. Anybody else going to write what they're going to do? And to keep it to yourself. Here's the point, folks, right now. And here's the secret. Every moment has the opportunity to make a choice. And you can choose to be quiet and small and stay in your very comfortable cage that you have created. Or you can make a choice that is bold and likely uncomfortable, but bold towards the life that you ideally want. Too many people are waiting to feel ready, but readiness is a lie. You don't feel ready when you're going for something bold. You decide that you are ready. There's something I do every time that I'm about to take a scary step. I say, this is the part where I go. I just will my body to go for it. That's it. I don't negotiate with the fear. I have the fear and I act. One of my personal values is courage. Courage means that I will feel fear. It means it is there and I act in spite of it. That's the dragon that I continue to slay day over day over day. The fear is not gone. Why? Because I'm human. So are you. So you've got to feel it and then you keep acting. Don't let the loop win. Declare what you're doing. You want to play bigger? Then make a declaration. Declare who you're becoming. Declare what you stand for. Declare what you won't shrink for anymore, because the world does not change when people wait. It changes when people act, whether scared or messy or shaky. Let me take you to another story that we all know. It is 1963. There is a man that stands on the steps of the Lincoln Memorial. He is not safe. He is not certain. He does not know if his words will land, and he doesn't have a polished strategy, but he has a dream. Martin Luther King Jr. didn't wait until the country was ready. He didn't wait until the laws changed. He stood in danger and declared his vision. His legacy was not built on certainty. It was built on courage, on inconvenience, on a trembling forward action. So, here is your invitation. Write down one thing you're no longer available for. You're done with. Where do you want to draw your line? I don't care how small or how big. I want you to draw a line and say, that's it. That's the end. And I also don't want you to write one thing that you're choosing to claim. One line is saying no more that way. And one thing that you're choosing to claim is saying, and I'm going that way. Write these in the chat. Some of you are doing that. Great. Those of you that are starting to write an email to me, put it in the email, lindona@productivelearning.com. Send it to me. Send it to the world. Send it to your spouse. Send it to your brother and your sister and your neighbor. This is what I'm about. Send it to the community at church that you go to. Here's what I'm for. I'm done with this, and here's what I want. Make it bold. Tell me what you're no longer available for and what you're choosing to claim. Me, I am no longer available to play in the middle. I am claiming a life that reflects the depth of what I know I am here to do. And this is what I am here to do. I don't believe that we were made to decorate our shrinking rooms. I think we were made to set it on fire and build something in its place. I don't think playing small makes you humble. I think it makes you invisible. And I think you're too damn powerful to stay unseen. If you want to do this work in a real and an integrated way, that's what we do at Productive Learning every damn day in our workshops and in our coaching. We walk people out of their comfort prisons and into their boldest lives. However fast or slow that you're willing to do it. But we're willing to do it. Email me, lindona@productivelearning.com. Say something like, I'm done playing small. Let's go. That inspires me. And Productive Learning, we are not here to be liked. We are here to light you the hell up. Put a fire under you and have you stoke your own fire. Now let's go back to the answer of what's the cost of repeating this behavior? Now, What is that cost to you? What amount of money is that costing you? What does it cost you in your health, in your weight, in your sleepless nights? What does it cost you in your relationship? Is it costing you love or connection? I want you to hold on to that as you think about these micro steps that you have committed to. I don't want you to dismiss it. I want you to see it. I want you to stare that line in the face and walk forward. And I will tell you, if you are committed to it, I am going to be running right next to you. I will run as fast and as far as you are willing to go. My team and my staff are dedicated to this work for ourselves and for anybody else willing to play. You want to climb Everest? We're there, man. What's your Everest? What's your dragon you're going to slay? Now, I mentioned Beyond Reasons. We are having Beyond Reasons next weekend, Saturday, Sunday, the 21st and 22nd of June in Southern California. The workshop is typically $1,400, and we're doing a stupid low promo down to $500 for a single ticket. I don't care if you've taken it before, or you've taken it 5 times before, or you've got friends that have taken it before. This is a path for you to get what you want. And you knew that I was going to lead this masterclass, so you at least probably thought, hey, he's got something to say. I am leading that workshop. So you want to come play with me? Let's go play next weekend. $500 for 2 days of me and you working on our lives so that we can create something truly extraordinary. That line in the sand and that trajectory of what you've committed to, now let's put substance behind it. Now let's understand that loop. Let's understand how to disconnect and dissolve that loop. Let's make this thing really happen. You've got friends, you've got family that you want to introduce to this too. Let's have that conversation. Connect me with them on an email, lindona@productivelearning.com. Send them to productivelearning.com. Let's make waves. Let's create extraordinary for you and for people around you. My wife says enlightenment is a two-way street. Enlighten yourself, enlighten those around you. Enlighten those around you, they will help enlighten you. So, my friends, that is my passionate plea. That is my declaration. That is my commitment. I am here ready to serve the most extraordinary aspect of you, but you are the one that has to make the choice. You will get off this masterclass, and that's where you have the choice. Will you make an email to me? Will you sign up at productivelearning.com? Or will you put the paper away and go eat your lunch and go back to your normal? You already know what my choice is. Now, the choice is yours. Thank you for joining me. I appreciate you all. You all make it so that I can do what I love and what my mission and values help me to define every day. Bye, everybody.